So this is a Mazda Rx-8 hood lock mechanism, and this came from a right-hand drive JDM Rx-8. So the Rx-8 is converted to left-hand drive, and I will try to convert this hood lock mechanism also to left-hand drive. And upon research of the original left-hand drive hood lock mechanism, is that this part here, the secondary safety lock for the hood lock mechanism, did not change whether it's for the left-hand drive or the right-hand drive version. So we don't need to revise this part here. The only thing that we're going to revise is this main lock mechanism here. This one here, and also this one here, as well as the string. I'll show you from this picture here. As you'll see, this is a hood lock of a left-hand drive version from an Rx-8. As you'll see, this lever here is still on the left-hand side, even if it's a right-hand drive version or left-hand drive version. They're just the same. The only difference is this one here and here, and the location, of course, of the spring. You'll see the spring, the end of the spring going to this side, and this JDM version goes to this side. And you will notice that this spring here is hooked in this part, and on the opposite side it's the same. So there's no problem revising this part here, as the main body of the hood lock mechanism is the same for left-hand drive and right-hand drive hood locks. Also, the part where the cable is attached to, like this one here, for the JDM right-hand drive, the cable is hooked here, and you will see at the opposite side it's the same. So we can hook the cable here. The reason why we're converting this hood lock mechanism to a left-hand drive version is that because when your Rx-8 is converted to left-hand drive, the hood lock cable is attached here at this side, and since the hood lock, the release lever, is on the left-hand side, the cable turns around in this direction and interferes with the air box for the engine, the air cleaner box. So it becomes difficult to open your air cleaner housing when you try to clean your air filter. So in order to not interfere with the air box, the opening of the air box, is we need to transfer the cable here, converting it to a left-hand drive version. Also, since for my customer had a collision accident which damaged its hood lock cable, because we need a longer hood lock cable if you're using the right-hand drive hood lock mechanism and the lever is on the left-hand side, and it's very hard to find the needed length for the hood lock mechanism, not unless if you retain your hood lock lever on the right-hand drive side, which is very inconvenient, of course. So first, we're going to remove the spring here. So we already removed the spring, and now we're going to remove this and also this one here in order to remove the locking mechanism. Again, we don't need to convert this part here. So in order to remove both of this, we need to, I think we need to grind this from the factory. It's like punched to flare out the end of this attaching, what you call this, attaching, it's like an attaching bolt. So we need to grind the outside diameter here in order to remove this part here, also this one here. And so we should also temporarily remove this small spring here. There we go. There you go. So that it will be easier to move this part of the lock. And we should also bend this tab here in order to have more movement for this secondary lock and grinding this part here. So it's not too hard, it's just soft. There you go. We have now more space. Only the outer diameter. We should not grind down the center part or the top part of this one, because we need that when installing this thing back here. We need to grind down only the outer diameter because it's like it's pinunch to eh, diba? Kumbaga pinitpit to eh. Kuha mo? So nag-flare yan dito sa gilid, nag-pinunch yan. So grind natin. We're going to try to punch this out. Oh, diba? And now to grind this one here. Para bumaba na. Yun pa?
Bumaba na siya.
Yun. There you go. So there you go. It's now removed. So this is the lock, also this one here. So they are of a different length, as you'll see here. This one is on the spring side, and this one here we need to, let's clean this first. So there you go, it's already clean. So what we're going to do here is so there's nothing to do here, also with the springs, also this one here. So there's nothing to do here, only on the three parts here that we're going to modify it. As you'll see the tab here for the spring. So we're just going to hit on this side here, then slowly bend it to the opposite side. So that's it for this one. We're going to hit up in this area, then bend it to the opposite side. And with regards to this spring, we also need to modify this. So this is the problem here. The spring, the coiling of the spring is towards the opposite direction. So that's our main problem. So let's bend this first. This one here and this one here. So here you go, we already reversed these areas here of the locking mechanism, and this is the last one that we need to modify. But first we'll try to assemble this. So here's the right hand drive hood lock, the unmodified one. We'll use it as a guide. This one here is originally on the left side. We will transfer it now to the right hand side. And this one here, originally on the right hand side, needs to go to the left hand side. And this one here, still the same position. And this shorter one as compared to this one, which is longer, originally the shorter one is on the left hand side. We will now transfer it here to the right hand side. And this one here, originally on the right hand side, the thicker one, as you'll see, we will now transfer it here to the left hand side. So it's like this. Then when you release the hood release cable, there's a spring force here to lift this up. Hold this by the cable, there you go, it will release like that. This one here, as I said earlier, the coiling of this spring is in the reverse direction, and we can't reverse this. Not easy to reverse this, to reverse the coiling. So what we'll do here is to bend the stub this way, then again to bend to this direction, and it is inserted like this here. So this part here needs to go down here. So what we will do here is to bend this down here and to bend towards this direction here, to hook on this side of this metal here. So here's now the spring. We already bent the end of the spring to its needed position. First, let's remove it again. So we're going to repaint this first because the original plating got burnt. So to prevent corrosion, we need to repaint this, as well as this one here. Yeah. So I'm now going to assemble this, and here are the parts that needs no modification, and here are the three components that needs to be modified. So we already repainted the modified parts, and we're now going to install it. Again, this one will now go on this side, But first we need to place some grease to lubricate the moving parts, the moving areas. So it's now installed here, and this one here will now go on the opposite side. Now here on the left hand side, lubricate the moving areas. Remember that this end here should go underneath this, just like that. And to install this plate here, also lubricate the areas where there's movement, and to install it here. And the shorter fastener here will now go on the opposite side. Let's try to punch mildly. And let's temporarily install this longer fastener here at the opposite side. So let's place a socket here where the hole is. There you go, good. And to punch this fastener here at the left side, upward. There you go. Again, you need to position the end of this lock here underneath this part here, just like that. So we can install the spring after welding the two fasteners here. We should not install this yet. It will just interfere with the alignment of the fasteners here during TIG welding. And now to remove the contaminants, where we will weld the end of the fastener here. Okay, there you go. So you make sure the end of the fastener at the opposite side should lean towards this hard surface here, so that it will align to the main bracket of this hood lock mechanism here. Sandal mo maigi ha. And need some wood ground. So I'm going to weld this fastener here, since we can't still stamp this fastener again. So now to the opposite side. So to check for alignment, so it's aligned, properly seated. So now on the opposite side here. So there you go, it's now fully welded. And now to attach the springs. But first we will bend this tab again here, the limiter for the movement of this one here, the secondary lock. Just bend it back. There you go. You'll see that it limits the movement of this one here, the secondary lock. And now to install the spring. So let's install the short spring first on this side here, and pull the spring to this slot. There you go. And now to the back side, you need to install this big spring here. It will now be located on the opposite side. You install it on this side first. There you go. And to hook the other end there. There you go. So the last is the spring here. So we are now going to install the modified spring. Insert first on this side here. Insert it through the hole, this lock mechanism here. Then the other end of the spring, you need to position it here. There you go. And there we go. And now to test the mechanism, akin na yung screwdriver, yung yellow. So let's install first the cable here. There you go. And to lock it here. So there you go, the hood release cable is now on the left hand side. We will now test the, there you go, let's now test it. Now let's say this is the hood latch, going down, because there you go, baba mo. There you go, it's now in the lock position. And now to release the hood lock, there you go. And now test it again. There you go, it's now locked. And to release again the hood lock, there you go. Okay, it's now good. We will just repaint this whole mechanism. So here's now our converted hood lock mechanism for the Mazda RX-8. Converted from right hand drive to left hand drive. It's now fully repainted. So you'll see it's like it's not converted. And also here's the converted hood release cable. And we will test again. Here's the original hood release lever under the dashboard. Let's try to lock this again. There you go. The mechanism of the hood lock is locked into position. The screwdriver is like the hood latch of the hood. And now we're going to release it using the original lever. There you go. Okay, now just to be installed to the car. Oh yeah.